Hey, it's another episode of the Bobcat Club. I'm Carl Schoening along with Lucas Haskins, our broadcasting productions manager here. So in short, he's the ESPN Plus guy. He is the director of everything that happens in this room. As you see it, this room is where the magic happens. All the video feeds come here, and ESPN Plus produces our broadcasts now. And you're not somebody who is a third party. You're actually an employee of the university. Can we just go over real quick what your position is and how you got about it?
Yeah. So, like you mentioned, I'm an employee of the university, and it's Texas State on my paycheck, so I'm a Texas State employee. But my main job is to produce, the broadcast for ESPN Plus. So, in a sense, the school has become a third-party packager for ESPN. To put these broadcasts on. It started 2 years ago when the Sun Belt partnered with ESPN Plus, and many other conferences had similar partnerships with ESPN Plus, and other schools all across the country are doing it. And you can understand why ESPN would want to do it. The more content you get on your app, the more people that are going to want to watch it, the more fans, families, friends you have of universities and student athletes, and people are going to want to watch the shows, so they're going to pay the subscription fees, and you get more people by having more content on there. And then not only do they get more content on there, but they get to do it at a pretty cheap rate. They obviously have contracts, and there's money that comes to the Sun Belt and comes to each of the schools in the Sun Belt. But, we're doing 80 broadcasts this year, and we'll do even more next year. So, when the Sun Belt as a whole is putting together 500-600 broadcasts, that's a lot of content that ESPN gets, and a lot of viewers that are going to want to watch that stuff.
Yeah, it wasn't too long ago within this century where professional organizations didn't have all of their games broadcasted on television. And nowadays, thanks to, just modern technology and availability of it and certain things, something where 15 years ago, you weren't able to watch Bobcat broadcasts actually with your eyes. You had to find Bill and Brant on the radio. Nowadays, you can find Brant on your computer or your smart TV.
Yeah. A lot has changed. I've been in the industry. I started at ESPN in 2011, actually 2012. So, I've been in the industry for 8 years now, and the growth and the change that's happened in the industry has just been huge. Obviously, ESPN's financial woes have been very publicized over the past decade, and part of the way that they plan to alleviate that is find ways to cut costs. And ESPN remote productions now, their live events, I think actually now more than half of live events are done either by a school, by a third-party packager that ESPN has hired out, or a REMI production, where the only thing on site is the cameras. All of the equipment is back in another room, sometimes on the other side of the country. And when you do it that way, you don't have to fly people out, you don't have to rent trucks, you don't have to pay hotel rooms, per diem fees, all that stuff. So, the industry has changed so much. And then the SEC network kind of led the way. It was a partnership with ESPN, 5 years ago or so. And, gave the schools the ability to put these games on themselves with the help of ESPN, helping teach them how to do it and give them the proper logos and, animations and elements so that it looks like an ESPN broadcast. And now we're at the point where the ACC network exists. So now two of the Power 5 conferences have their own network that's partnered directly with ESPN, and they're all producing all of their home athletic events. And then even schools like Harvard up in the Ivy League, they produce 35 of their 42 sports. 35. So squash, fencing, crew. They were out on a mountain remotely doing skiing this past year. It's actually the first time ESPN's ever had ski on ESPN Plus. And outside of X Games, first time that ESPN's ever had ski, period. So, the capabilities that these schools have, and like you said, with the technological advances, there's more capabilities, more abilities to give fans what they want, and that's content.
Yeah, when we talk about it, it's one of those things that makes the production values better, that is better reach for the fans, because we talk about it. There's nothing better than actually seeing things for yourself. So what are your plans here for ESPN to go ahead and promote what you guys do for the next year? I know this year's been a great first year of doing football full-time, basketball full-time. I know we have baseball coming up. So what are your plans for baseball and then going into next academic year?
Yeah, I think that's the internal discussion that's really going on right now between myself, other members of my team, my bosses, and the higher senior staff here. The athletic department as a whole is deciding what is our goal. What is it that we want to do? Is our goal to broadcast every single home athletic event? If that's the case, we've got a lot of work to do. We did volleyball this past year, and that was great. But there were a couple days when football games are going on at the same time as volleyball. We don't have the capabilities of doing 2 games at one time. We only have one control room, one set of equipment, one encoder, which is how we actually send the signal to ESPN so they can send it out. So, there's more things that we're going to have to do. Soccer is a sport that we have yet to broadcast. Something that, I know the soccer team would like us to be doing that. Soccer fans would like us to be doing that. We have a rich soccer program here. Conference champions just two years ago. So, we'd like to get that in the mix. And then baseball, softball as well. What happens on the weekends when they have double headers and they're both playing at the same time? We have to make a choice which one we show. And then when baseball, baseball starts, baseball, softball start in just a couple weeks. And we're still doing basketball at that point. And we actually have a fiduciary obligation to our contract with ESPN to show every single basketball game. That is why ESPN created this package for football and basketball. Those are what drive the money. There are other requirements. This year we have to show 7 baseball games. By next year, that number will increase to 9. And then I believe the year after that, it will increase to 11, and that's where it'll stay. I believe 11 is the number they want from all the Sun Belt schools. But obviously, Texas State is going to have well more than 11 home baseball games. So what is our goal? Is our goal to get every single broadcast, every single home athletic event on air? I would think at some point in the next 5 years, that would be the goal. We're certainly not there right now, but this operation just got started. Last year we did 14 men's games and 4 women's games. We did 18 broadcasts all of last year. Now this year we're going to encroach pretty close to 90. I think 85, 86 is the number that we're at right now. I think that number will only increase as the years go along, and especially once we're able to add additional sports like soccer, and maybe even one day down the line, track and field, tennis, things like that.
Yeah, those make sense. And I think one of the more fun obstacles of your job would be figuring out how to actually do everything, because obviously tennis, you have that high angle behind one baseline. Soccer, you have that high angle, maybe a couple field cameras. What about golf? Ever thought about maybe getting 100 cameras out there on the golf course? Because that'd be a tough thing to produce as well. But obviously we have the capabilities and the platform to do it now. So basically, ESPN Plus is a subscription service, but I do want to do a little plug. I know a lot of you out there probably have Disney Plus, just a little bit more money, and you get ESPN Plus as well.
Yeah, they have. They actually did a package where you can get, I think, Hulu, Disney Plus, and ESPN Plus for like $11.99 a month. So it's a really good deal. Obviously everybody knows that cable is, it's, I don't want to say it's dying, but it's changing. Its needs are changing. And one of the biggest attractors to cable still is live sports. And now that live sports are starting to move off of the cable spectrum and onto streaming apps and things like that, it's a whole shakeup. And so a lot of, especially our generation, the younger generations, they don't. I know a lot of friends who haven't had cable in years and paid for cable in years and probably don't ever plan to again. They have everything they need with Hulu, Netflix, and then an ESPN Plus account, or an account that is just the shows or channels that they want to watch. So in this world of people kind of get to pick and choose what they want, when ESPN has the luxury of being owned by Disney, they can bundle those things together. Everybody, just about anybody with a kid is going to want Disney Plus in their house. And so anybody who's a sports fan is going to want ESPN Plus in their house as well. So bundle those things together, save people a few bucks. And then again, you're just adding the numbers. You're adding numbers to your membership. And that's the goal for ESPN. That's the goal for any of these platforms like Netflix. Netflix operates at a loss. Netflix doesn't make money. They lose money. But they have, millions upon millions of members that are paying, $10 a month. So they have tens and hundreds of millions of dollars coming in every month, so they can stay on air. And that's the goal when you operate these platforms, is you just have to get the users. You just have to get the people participating, being on the other end of it and paying that money. And then from that point, you can decide where you go with it and what you want to do.
And there's a lot of Sun Belt fans out there. So Hey, if you haven't heard yet, now you have. ESPN Plus is the home of Texas State broadcasts, so you can watch all your favorite Bobcat athletes in action. And there's more to come, and that's the exciting thing is we're just getting rolling on this, and Lucas Haskins here will it's in good hands. I'll put it that way. He has a lot of stuff that he's going to be working on, and you guys will eventually see the results of that. Any final thoughts before we sign off?
Yeah, it's not just me doing this operation. We have a really great team. Marcos Mena is the technical guru. Anytime there's anything that isn't working, he knows how to fix it. He's been doing freelance work in live events for years, and he has great tools that he brings to the table. Brian Miller, my boss, does a great job of giving us the tools that we need, helping us figure out what we can do on a daily basis to get better. And then at the end of the day, we're just three people. Add Brant into the mix, who obviously everybody knows his passion for Bobcat athletics. But you add just the 3-4 of us can't put on a show, and it's we have an entire staff of student workers who bust their tails and put in a lot of blood, sweat, and tears. I don't want to speak in hyperbole, but it's true. There's a lot of emotion that gets into this, a lot of work that gets into this. It's for fans at home, you push a button and you log into a website, you enter in a couple keystrokes, and boom, all of a sudden Texas State basketball is on your air. It's not that easy here. It takes a lot of preparation, it takes a lot of work. We're here. We're planning for games a week out. What are our storylines? We're building graphics, acquiring video that we'll use for the show, and then on game day we're here 4 or 5 hours before the event, setting up cameras, turning on all our equipment, making sure everything works, going through rehearsals. And these students, they bust their tails, and some of these kids don't have any of this experience, and they're learning on the fly, and it's trial by fire here. We have kids and it's their first day, and they're running replay on an ESPN broadcast, and it's day one. So no matter what position you're at, you're always going to have a day one. And the attitude of our student workers, the attitude of our team is really what brings us to success. So, it's a great opportunity for students who want to be a part of this. It's a great opportunity for fans who want to enjoy this stuff at home. And it's a team effort by everybody here, and certainly not a one-man show, certainly not just me behind here. So, credit to my team and credit to our student workers who really care and put a lot of passion into this project.
Yeah, I imagine that's just a tremendous experience for all of the Bobcat students who want to get into it. It's stuff that they're not going to learn in classes, and they get a really good opportunity and good resume builder here as well.
I tell them that all the time. I like I said, I came here from ESPN. This equipment that you're looking at here in the room is the exact same stuff that these ACC and SEC school control rooms are using. Expression, our graphics equipment, is the same graphics equipment. I work freelance for ESPN. I use that same equipment. NBA on TNT, they use the Expression software. NASCAR on NBC, they use the Expression software, and it's only getting bigger. So, this is real world, professional grade experience that you are getting as a 19 or 20-year-old. I was 4 years into my career at ESPN before I ever got the opportunity to even look at this stuff, let alone start to learn it. So for somebody who's 20 years old and thinks, hey, I like sports, hey, I like TV, what does a career like that look like? 6 months later, they know how to operate professional grade equipment. That's a huge thing. And, we've already started to get some of our student workers freelance opportunities. Student workers have moved on to get jobs at other schools, doing this at other schools and universities. And like I said, we have students who have gone on and done graphics work freelance for ESPN and other areas, make $600-700 for a day's worth of work. So really, really good opportunity here for the students. And then obviously for the fans as well. So everybody's winning in this relationship. The Sun Belt wins, the student athletes wins, the fans wins, the students win, we win, the athletic, everybody's winning in this relationship. So it's a really great thing to be a part of. And sign up for ESPN Plus and watch, so more people watch, and we get a little more money in our pocket.
Awesome. We always want a little more money in our pocket.
Always.
And, it's not always easy, but it is pretty much always fun.
Yes.
Until the technology decides to not work.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's never the fun part.
No.
But go and find that we didn't record any of this. I see the record button still going, so we're all good. Yeah, sometimes just how it works. Well, thank you, Lucas.
Yeah, absolutely.
We appreciate it, and we'll be watching.
Good. Looking forward to it.